This video we're going to fly through all the characters I would like to see come to Marvel Rivals. A lot of people have already kind of made a video on this, but they've missed out some characters that I would like to see, so we're going to get straight into it. And first of all, we're starting off with AntMan. I think he has a really cool idea for a kit, where the fact that you can go really small and really big, and this game's basically pushed the boundaries of what's allowed within this game anyway, and there's so many different ways AntMan can be brought into this game, and the main one will probably be as a Vanguard, to be honest, because you can go massive. And if they're going to add in other characters that we're going to mention in this video as well, then I think AntMan's not really out of the picture there as well, and obviously has a lot of different abilities and the different sizes he can take up. Another really easy one would be Blade, because the way he obviously fights in combat is very easy for a duelist to put in that slot. But I do think what's really cool about Blade is that he could have some like life drain abilities, where obviously because he is a vampire, technically he could drain life from other characters within a certain radius, things like that. And obviously he's got a lot of different weapons as well. Obviously we know what kind of category he's going to go into, but when it comes to his actual abilities, they could play around with it quite a lot. So I do think Blade has got a lot of potential there as well. Next up, we've got Cable. Again, more of a duelist character, very similar to Winter Soldier in some aspects. Next up, we've got a really big one that I'm surprised wasn't really added into the game to begin with, and that was Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel is such a popular character, especially because of the movies and things like that, so I'm surprised she wasn't added in. She could be pretty OP, to be honest, because she could fly, she could pretty much do absolutely everything. She's basically the Marvel version of Superman, so I mean, there's not really much she can't do. Next up, we have Carnage. I'm not sure how likely it is that they'll add Carnage into this game, especially because Venom's already in the game and they're very similar characters, but I do think they can give him a completely different kit, because the symbiote idea can be spanned across different characters and they all can do completely different things. I mean, I think they will still have like the web slinging capabilities, but I don't even think Carnage actually needs that, because you don't really see him do it too much. But like I said, I do think Carnage should be in this game, one of my favourite characters to see. Next up, an easy one, and I think will probably end up in the game at some point, and that is Cyclops. He's got such an easy kit, and I think they could add him into the game with obviously his laser vision thing. There's a lot of different things they could do with that. They kind of make him more like a sniper style character, since he can obviously shoot long range. And he could be hit scan as well, which could be pretty cool. So like I said, Cyclops is a really easy one. I think they will add him into the game in the future anyways, just because he's such a popular character. Next up, we've got Daredevil. No one's really mentioned Daredevil too much. Very easy duelist that they could add into the game. And like I said, there's not really too much complications with Daredevil. He's pretty straightforward, to be honest, just a very combat style character, so they could add him into the game. He will probably be a duelist anyway. The only one that probably sits out with the duelist categories here are Carnage and maybe AntMan, and that is pretty much it, to be fair. The rest are all duelists so far. Next up, we've got Deadpool, another duelist character, 100% a duelist, basically quite similar to Wolverine in some aspects, where he should have some kind of health regain abilities, where they need to kind of buff Wolverine anyway. They should add the same kind of effects to Deadpool as well, and obviously he's going to have the same kind of close range combat style as Wolverine. Then we've got the Dora Milaje, or Okoye, General Okoye from the Black Panther series. I'd like to see this being added in. I think that'd be a really cool addition to the game. Again, another duelist category character, but I think that'd be really, really cool to add the Dora Milaje into this game. They're not super popular, but I think they would have really cool kit to add into this game as a combat style character. Then we have Falcon. Now, Falcon can be taken either as a strategist or as a duelist, in my personal opinion. Depends on which category they take it in. I do think Falcon is a solid character they could add into the game. Another flying character for that matter, because there isn't really that many of them in the game in the first place, so they could add in the Falcon pretty easily. Obviously he's a combat style character, so it depends on which category you want to put him in. But I'd like to see him in the game regardless, especially since the new Captain America movie's coming out. We already have Captain America in the game, so it makes more sense to add in Falcon than Captain America. Then next up, we have Gambit, a very, very popular one, but not only that, a very easy one to add into the game again. Again, probably going to be a duelist, let's be honest, but Gambit would be a solid character to add into this game with his deck of cards and his abilities and all that kind of thing. And I think this is another one that might actually end up in the game at some point as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see Gambit in the future. Next up, we've got Ghost Rider, another one that I think will be added into the game. in the future. I just think Ghost Rider is such a cool character. There's not really been any movies recently and things like that, but in general, Ghost Rider is a super popular character, and I think he's got such a great kit with his motorbike, his chain ability, and just so many things he's got available. Obviously, he'll be a duelist or potentially a Vanguard, actually. I think that'd be really cool to see. Hopefully a Vanguard, actually, since he's obviously got quite a lot of health. He can't really die in that thing. But like I said, that would be really, really cool to see him added in. Another one I'm really excited to see, and hopefully they add it in, is Green Goblin. Now, obviously, if they wanted to add in a Spider-Man villain that wasn't already in the game, obviously Carnage is quite similar to Venom, but Green Goblin has got the potential for some of the best kit in the game, with the hoverboard and the kind of pumpkin bombs and all that sort of thing. I think they need to add him into the game if they've not got any plans to do that already, because he's such a cool character when it comes to Spider-Man, and he's definitely going to be a duelist, let's just be honest, so that is going to add to that category a ton. Then we've got the Human Torch, and I do think the Human Torch, we've also got the Invisible Woman, we've also got the Thing, and we also have Mr. Fantastic, and this is basically all of the Fantastic Four. Now, obviously, that's going to be the next big Marvel movie, team-up kind of movie, so I do think they'll pretty much either add in all these characters, or at least a couple of them from the Fantastic Four, because they're super popular characters. When it comes to the kit between all of them, the Thing's going to be very similar to the Hulk, to be honest. I don't think you'll have the ability to go between kind of states, but you probably stay as the Thing, and obviously there is some potential for different moves and attacks. Mr. Fantastic, obviously his kit will be completely different, so they can add him into the game pretty straightforward. He'll be very, very different to a lot of the characters currently existing in the game, so I guess why not. Then we have the Invisible Woman. Again, she can go invisible, be a stealth character, even a healer as well. A stealth healer would be fantastic, actually, in this game. So it depends on how they take her abilities. I think that would be the best position to put her in, if I'm being perfectly honest. But we'll need to see. And then we've got the Human Torch, which is pretty straightforward. A flying character, obviously fires fireballs and things like that. Pretty straightforward stuff. And he's probably going to be a duelist. Next up, we have the opposite of the Human Torch, and that is Iceman from the X-Men. And again, he can just be a flying style character with the way he can glide and make like a ramp with the ice and things like that. And he could be a healer. I'm not really sure with that, but he'd probably most likely be a duelist if he was added into the game. Just a character I like a lot from the X-Men, to be honest. So I hope they add in Iceman at some point. In terms of his kit, it's pretty straightforward, to be fair. Then we've got a weird one, and that is the Nightcrawler, and he could be a healer or a duelist. He could technically be a Vanguard, but he's not really going to have that much health. So I would like to see him in the healer category, or the strategist category for that matter. And obviously having the ability to teleport would be really cool. And it's not like we don't already have that in the game anyway, so we could see this. Hopefully he could teleport further distances than some of the other characters. And obviously he's going to be more of a stealth-based character anyway, so I think Nightcrawler is such an obvious addition to this game. It would be really, really easy to add him in. Next up, we've got the Phoenix. I just added her in, not personally one of my favourite characters, but just a character I think will be quite popular when it comes to Marvel characters, and that should be added in, so I do think she could be added in there. Very similar to kind of Human Torch with the abilities and things, and I'm not really sure how the kit would work for that one, but I've added it in because she's a very popular character. That's the main reason. Then we've got Quicksilver. I would like to see some kind of speedster in this game. I think that'd be a really cool addition. I think there should be one in the game anyway. And obviously, kind of, there's a faster moving characters in this game for sure, but obviously there's not one as quick as a speedster, so that'd be pretty cool to be added into the game. Again, could be a healer or something of that nature, but most likely going to be a duelist. Then we've got Shang-Chi. I just really like Shang-Chi, to be honest, so I do think they should add him into the game with the rings. That'd be pretty cool, actually, to see what they can do with that. Again, not really sure what they would do with the kit for this one. Obviously going to be a duelist, but like I said, I think most of these characters are going to be duelists, to be honest. It's very hard to figure out what characters we could put in other categories here, and that's kind of where they need to kind of play around with it a little bit more, I think, when you go through all the Marvel characters. Next up, we've got Shuri, and this is where I do think she could be a strategist for a healer. This is Shuri from Black Panther, but I wouldn't add her in as Black Panther. I would add her in as Shuri. I think that would be a way cooler way of doing it, because we already have the actual Black Panther in the game anyway. So we don't need to add her in as a second version of that. So like I said, she could be a healer because obviously the abilities there is the way she was trying to help her brother out in the movies and things like that. So obviously there is support for her in the strategist section. And then last but not least, my favourite character is War Machine. I think War Machine could be added in as a Vanguard. So very similar to the Iron Man character. And I do think it's pretty close. So they might not make this one happen, to be honest. But I would just like to see War Machine added into the game. The kit's pretty straightforward, to be honest. And I think it should be a Vanguard that'll be able to fly. So it's a bit slower. And none of the Vanguards can fly in this game anyway. So that would be a really cool addition for something a bit different that we've not seen. So like I said, that is my list of what I would like to see be added into the game. Let me know what characters I've missed out and ones that you would like to see. Obviously, there's some troll characters like Howard the Duck. There's also ones like Korg and Meek, which I'd like to see added in as a bit of a troll character. They could also be healers. So, like I said, there's a lot that I've missed here as well. But let me know what you'd like to see in this game. And thank you very much for watching.